You're with Johnny Vedmore on today's News Talk, TNT.
Listen, you host a podcast called Exposing the Cult, which is a brilliant name. You got exposethecult.com, which is a very good website handle as well. How has that been for you so far? What do you use the platform for, and where do you want it to go? What type of thing do you want to create into?
So last year, I sat down and I cranked out about 20 hours worth of content. So I did a whole season and then I took a break. So I'm actually planning on doing another season of Expose the Cult. I plan to do this within the next month. I'm going to start recording and cranking them out for the summer. And I think that it's a healthy way to handle that amount of research and that amount of editing, producing, cranking out content, right? And I do things as well in the background. So this next season, I want to talk about the things that happened this last year, the cast review, WPATH files, Tickle versus Giggle, which, if you're unaware, that is the case in Australia of Sal Grover being sued by Mr. Giggle because she has a business that she wanted to establish as women only accessing the platform, and he is upset that he is not permitted to be a part of it. So I haven't seen the results of that come out. Maybe I missed something, but I am going to check again after this now. But in the background, aside from working on Expose the Cult, I have done work for the Red Tent Collective, which is a group of women that I met after I peaked in March of last year. We kind of found each other in this cannon fodder of the online battleground. And we were like, we need to do something. What can we do? Right. So because there are so many trans rights activists out here, mass reporting women, doxing us, getting us fired from our jobs, things like that, this huge culture war. And they've got so many technological advantages over maybe a house mom who really doesn't understand VPN or how to protect your website or how to, get your boots on the ground and maybe make a little more money from your side business because you've just lost your corporate job because now you've been doxxed and let go for having a belief that men are men and women are women. What we do is we help them get reestablished online. So we help women rebuild, maybe build a website, get their own merchandise going, use the momentum of the support from women who've seen them fall, rise again from the ashes, right? And aside from that, we work with other women's organizations and we facilitate in the same way with making sure that they can fight this battle against the billion-dollar funded ideological gender ideology being pushed onto all of us.
Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it amazing how much money these people get? And I find it really interesting that I don't know why you called it the Red Tent Collect. I'm very interested by that because I've done a lot of work on the feminist movement of the past. I've seen I see the protest movement rise nowadays against this trans ideology, which bears a lot of resemblance. And of course, I've done a lot of work on the Red Stockings movement as well. I'm very interested about why you chose the name Red Tent Collective for that.
So there is a history of the Red Tent, essentially, and I believe it's more of like a native thing, right? So maybe a little more Native American or Native Canadians, what have you. So essentially, centuries ago, when a young girl would come into womanhood, she would join the older women in the grown women in the red tent, right? And once a month, so it was a thing for women who essentially were growing from young girls into womanhood to be a part of the society of elders in their community of women. And so at the Red Tent Collective, we were like, okay, well, I peaked a year ago. I just peaked 6 months ago. There's 8 of us. We're in Germany, the UK, America, Canada. We're all over. And the idea is that when women peak and they're ready, we're willing to take them in and kind of help them and guide them and do what we can to facilitate with getting their feet on the ground, because women like myself, we lose either family or friendships because we will not succumb to this ideology that tells us we are not allowed to believe in the differences between men and women. What's sad about this ideology is they say, well, you just reduce yourself to your uterus. But actually, all that the ideology has done is reduced us to that. We never had to talk about those things, right? You mentioned earlier gender roles, doing dishes, mowing the lawn, these things, right? There is no reason. I have a 3-year-old. He turns 3 in June. If my son picked up a pink unicorn, it does not mean that my son should be a little girl or raised as such, okay? This is absolutely a sexist view on how to raise your child. And that's what these people are doing. And it's sad for me to look and in retrospect at the parents, because down the line, the parents who trans their children can never, ever, ever allow themselves to believe that they were wrong in doing so, because they will not be able to forgive themselves.
This is Johnny Vedmore on today's News Talk TNT.